Well, it's a great adventure trip that the first-year students at Bluffton University take, and we're going to learn more about it and the reasoning behind why you take these kids to the Smoky Mountains. Joining me today, Assistant Professor of Communication at Bluffton University and leads the Design Your Life program, Martha Anna Prothro, and she is joining us today. So thanks for coming today.
No problem. And it's Marathana.
I knew I screwed it up, even though I had the pronouncer. Sorry.
I'm used to it.
It's a beautiful name. But anyway, let's talk about this trip. Why do you have this great adventure trip that you take your freshmen on to go down to the Smoky Mountains in the fall?
Yeah, it's a huge, huge undertaking for us. And a big part of it is with our students, we know that where they're coming from, they're coming out of these years of COVID and high school and wanting to help them find a sense of community, adventure in terms of like trying new things, but also really just helping them discover themselves. That's a big thing that can be really hard to do if you're in the same location that you're always in. And we have so many students from this area who have never been beyond the state, so it's nice to give them an opportunity to explore.
Yeah, so let's first talk about that, their reaction when they get down to the Smokies. I mean, is it just beautiful down there in the fall, I assume?
Yeah, we're really lucky. We hit it right at just as the leaves are starting to turn. For the most part, they're pretty tired because they're college students, right, on a bus, but it takes us about 7 hours, and a lot of them are, other than being afraid of like the curvy roads, they're really just like, whoa, this is beautiful.
So what kind of things do you do with them to kind of spark that interest and maybe, you know, get them all gelling together and your purpose for going down there?
Right, so we have about 3 days that we're there, and so we have this mixture of kind of small group activities, classes. They go with their entire class, so it's the whole first year group of students, but also each section. So there are 10 classes, and so we have kind of lessons together that are interactive, but we also go zip lining, we go on hikes in Smoky Mountain National Park, and then we just have like low-key chill nights around the lodge.
What kind of reaction do you get from the students? I mean, I assume some of them are hesitant about going. Others are probably excited, but the reaction in the end, like on the ride home, what do you hear?
You're definitely right. At first there's some hesitation. They're like, I want to go home and see my mom. And by the time they're finished, they're like, oh, these are my people. Like, I have found connections, and they're tired on the bus, but they're still happy to kind of be back and have a greater sense of community with each other.
And that's going to be important when they're on campus then for the next 4 years, right, while they're there?
Yeah, we know that when students feel connected to people around them, that they have better success overall, right? They persist, they are able to ask for help when they need it. And so it's really about helping students find comfort in asking for the help that they need, as well as being able to comfort each other and help each other.
Yeah, those are kind of some of the life lessons besides bookwork that you want them to learn while they're in college, right, at Bluffton.
That's definitely something that we work hard at with our first year seminar course called Becoming a Scholar. We want students to become, right? To go from this process of just like, what am I supposed to do? What did my mom tell me to do? What did my teachers tell me to do? To help them come to a place where they're like, what do I want to do? And that's what we're all about, is helping those students find that connection with themselves and their purpose.
I assume this is probably a good tool for recruiting kids to campus, that, hey, you know, we do this trip and it helps out, and you can probably get some of these kids who've been on the trip before to like say, this was awesome, this was an important part of my college education.
First year students, when they're coming for their campus visits, their faces definitely light up when we're like, hey, you're gonna go on this great adventure to the Smokies. But then, you know, it's also one of those things that it ties in. We take students on cross-cultural experiences their junior year. So it's just part of this ongoing process, and that whole package really for students knowing I don't just have to stay in one spot while I'm in college. That definitely piques their interest.
Wow, yeah, neat stuff, that great adventure trip. Thanks for joining us today and telling us about what's happening at Bluffton. All right, don't go away. We'll take a look at the weather forecast for the weekend ahead.